just have a chill old time. Extra, extra, hear all about that.
Hey guys, and welcome to the podcast that has the consistency of wet bread. I am the Dean of Games, the Dean Slater on all platforms, and I'm joined by nobody because stuff went on with Gavin's life and my life, and I'm still trying to get back into the swing of things after my near breakdown. So this is going to be a much more chill thing. I did have a doc prepared, but I literally made it 7 days ago, as it turns out. So we're going to kind of be winging it. Everyone's favorite thing to hear from a podcast. So let's go ahead and we'll start with Pikmin 4 topping the Japanese charts for the third week in a row. This is from BGC. I typically start with BGC and then get more information from other sites after, but my go-to is VGC, and this is from Chris Scullion. This is according to Famitsu. It's Pikmin 4 sold almost 79,000 copies. To bring the total last week, obviously, to bring the sales total to 596,000. And then in second place was Tears of the Kingdom, obviously. When Pikmin launched last month, its first weekend sales in Japan were more than those of the first 3 Pikmin games combined, which is crazy. And I'm glad to hear that. Before the release of Pikmin 4, the best one was the Pikmin 3 Deluxe port for the Switch, which sold 171,000 in its first week. But yeah, so in case you haven't been paying attention to my social medias, which, as I mentioned at the top, the Dean Slater on all platforms. X, Threads, Hive, Facebook, Instagram, the Dean Slater across all those. But and then obviously Twitch, where I have been streaming Pikmin 4, and I love it. Like, I told myself I would only be playing it on stream. And man, I'm like, should I try to get an extra stream in? Should I try, like, can I do that? I haven't been able to do it, but, like, I just want to play Pikmin 4 more. And I want to say I'm more than halfway through, but I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with things, but they say it's a 30-hour game, and I have done 15 hours, and 2 areas are 100%ed. I've gotten gold medals on all of the challenges. And then there's another area where I'm at 60%, and then another area which I went to for a day, and then an in-game day, and then just pieced out until I got everything else done. But yeah, so it is a phenomenal game. I recommend it to everyone. Let's get those numbers up so they make another one. Because this, I've always loved Pikmin, but this is like, this is where the franchise should be. So, let's see here. Ooh. Okay. Dan Ackerman. I don't know his name. I don't know if you know his name. But he wrote he wrote a book about the history of Tetris. And he is suing Apple and the Tetris company for adapting his book without his permission, and says that they liberally borrowed from his book. And I guess, okay, so the Tetris company refused to license its IP to projects related to Ackerman's book and sent him a cease and desist. And then they made the show. His book presents the story as a Cold War thriller with political intrigue angle. So I haven't read the book. I haven't seen the movie either, but I was very interested in seeing the movie. I just don't have Apple TV. I mean, if this is true, then yeah, get your money, guy. But it's, copyright's a weird thing. That's why YouTube and Twitch struggle so much with copyright. More YouTube than Twitch, but Twitch has had its fair share. And then also Patreon. That's why Patreon is having issues with copyright too. It's just a really weird thing. There is fair use, but fair use is so broad that it's sometimes difficult to discern what is and isn't a part of that. Where is the line drawn for fair use is a lot of the issues. But that definitely sounds similar to what the show or the movie was presenting, because the true story is still crazy, don't get me wrong. But like, he didn't get into like a bar fight or anything like that in real life. And it shows him like getting the shit beat out of him. So there might be more to it than that, but we'll have to see. I did not know about this story. Interesting. Oh, this story infuriates me. It makes me so mad. Okay, so Nintendo patents a bunch of stuff from Tears of the Kingdom. The loading screen. Let's see. It was. Yeah, so the loading screen where if you fast travel, it will go to, it'll show you where you're at, and then once it loads the next area, it'll, the map on the loading screen will then shift to where you are. Yeah, that's really cool. Why the fuck are you patenting it? How many games is Nintendo making that is open like Tears of the Kingdom? They don't make a lot of those games. Why? Why do you need to patent that? Oh, and they also patent the technology they developed that creates an inability of a player to grab an object they are already standing on, which is incredibly fucking stupid because other games have already done that. My game of the year for 2021, Psychonauts 2, they did that. I mean, people found a glitch where they could stand on an object and pick it up, but they, under normal circumstances, outside of like the slight manipulations, you cannot grab an item that you're standing on. The game won't let you. It's already been done. And guess what? They didn't patent it. What? I gotta stop. I've gotta stop, or otherwise I'm gonna get too mad. And then the ability to stand on a moving object, then continuing in the direction of that moving object. That's so many games. Like, even fucking Twilight Princess has that with the snowboarding. Like, that is so vague. Is it specifically that? I'm assuming it's specifically that technology that they used. Is it different than, than what's been done before with other games that do that? I don't know. And then also some of the abilities like Ultra Hand and Fuse, which those make sense. Those, I can see those. The loading screen, I can also see because no one that I'm aware of has done that either. At least that I can remember. But like not being able to grab something you're standing on, or jump on a object and continue moving on it. People have done that. I guess in Twilight Princess, the object, when you snowboard, it wasn't moving to start with, but it's stupid. Those things have been done before. What makes Nintendo so fucking special? I love Nintendo, but I hate Nintendo. Speaking of Nintendo, they did I don't have the story pulled up for this. They did a Pokemon Presents, and they showed nothing. They showed absolutely nothing. There's a really neat web series that they're going to be doing, which looks interesting. The web series premieres on the same day that Starfield comes out. Their DLC looks interesting. It's a week from when Starfield comes out. Then they showed more of the anime. You know, it is what it is. I haven't watched the Pokemon anime in so long. Then they showed Pokemon Go will now have all the Pokemon in it. We knew that was coming eventually. Why did they have a presence for that? There was next to no new information. Let's see. Xbox reduced its $1 Game Pass trial to from 1 month to 14 days. It makes sense. They're releasing the biggest game they've released in God knows how long. And we knew it was going to be coming eventually. In fact, they even not that long ago stopped doing the $1 trial. And before bringing it back. So anyone in that knows figured that it was going to happen sooner or later. This is a great sign, though, as Kind of Funny had pointed it out, and I am in full agreement. I thought the same thing when I saw the story. Is this could be a signal that they finally are confident that they have a solid lineup going forward, starting with Starfield and then just hitting those marks that they have not been able to hit. Oh, that was my dog. And hitting those marks that they haven't been able to hit. So, good for them. Gran Turismo movie. There's been an issue with the movie. Outside of people not really being receptive to it, they changed the timeline a little bit. Keep in mind, the Gran Turismo movie is actually based, again, like Tetris, based on actual events. And so, artistic license, changing things up for the benefit of the movie is nothing new. I personally, depending on the situation, as we're going to explain, this is a situation where it shouldn't have been done. But depending on the situation, I'm fine with artistic license. Film is so much different than any other media. It's different than books, shows, video games. Those three all translate to each other pretty well, because they're longer form than a movie. A movie, you have to tell everything within the span of, let's say, 3 hours. I know there's longer movies than that, but let's just say 3 hours. Books and television and video games, you can tell it over, 40 to 60 hours and be just fine. So they translate better with each other than with a movie. Gran Turismo reframed a event where the driver that the movie is based on got into a wreck that caused the death of a spectator. And in real life, it happened years later. But in this, it was the driving force for him to get make podium on a race, and it's just like kind of gross, It's kind of icky. Me no likey. And a lot of other people don't like it either, and there's some backlash towards Sony and everyone right now because of it. Anyway, oh, and they showed more at the Pokemon Presents. They showed more Detective Pikachu Returns. Man, that looks bad. I know Pokemon games in general don't look good, but oof. I do like me some detective stuff though, so maybe I play it if I can. Let's see. Oh, New Zealand regulators approved Microsoft's proposal. I thought they had already gotten all of the regulators, but I guess they just got New Zealand. They're very close to having them all. CMA notwithstanding. Oh, speaking of controversy, I apologize. Like I said, I'm still in the recovery stage a little bit from breakdown. Red Dead Redemption is being ported to Switch and PS4. It has the Undead Nightmare DLC. I believe it doesn't have multiplayer though, if I remember correctly. And then they're going to be charging $50 for this. Let's see. I'm trying to see if yeah, I don't see it. I believe I heard somewhere that there's no multiplayer. But anyway, the game has been playable on Xbox and PC this whole time. The Xbox One and and obviously PS3. But so they've been playable, just not on PlayStation 4 or Switch. So they are porting it. There is no graphical increase. Like I said, the Nightmare DLC is available, but there are other aspects that aren't available, and they're charging $50. A lot of people got upset about this, and then the CEO is like, hey, that's the price we think is commercially appropriate. And that's the end of that. And so I would recommend not buying that game. Actually, I'm pretty sure you can get it cheaper. I'm not going to look up the sales right now, but I'm sure you can get it cheaper in plenty of places for PC and Xbox. And it'll be probably just as good. I even $40 I might be able to see. A lot of games come out at $40. But think a fair price for a game this old with no upgrades, just a straight port, I think 30 is appropriate. But like I said, I could almost see 40. 50 is just not reasonable. And I know I'm talking in $10 increments, which in the long run, $10 doesn't mean, or in the short term, $10 means nothing. But in the long term, if they get away, if they have success with this port at $50, we will never see a game under $50 outside of indies. And for the newer games, that's fine. I can understand newer games being, I can see newer games being cheaper, or more expensive, sorry, because they are new. This game's decade old. Like, it's so old. I don't know, guys. Man, they are crazy. Let's see. Activision says most content collected from Modern Warfare 2 will carry over to Modern Warfare 3. I wonder how much of that is Microsoft's influence, because that's very, very out of character for Activision by itself. So I wonder if that's something that was a directive from Microsoft. Even though Microsoft doesn't officially own Activision yet, some of these decisions will be after, some of these games will come out after Xbox acquires. So they have some say. Yeah. So oh, I didn't even see that. The Pokemon trailer for the upcoming Scarlet and Violet DLC in the Pokemon Presents I mentioned before, used fan music without their knowledge. Yeah, go Pokemon Company and Nintendo. Heaven forbid people use Nintendo's assets, but it's just fine for Nintendo to use others. Man, I fucking hate Nintendo sometimes. I love them, but man, I hate them. Don't like that. Let's see. What came from Evo? Oh yeah, there was a teaser for a Lego Harry Potter game. Very briefly on Instagram. It is what it is. I used to be a massive fan of Harry Potter, and then I just kind of grew out of the franchise. I'm not saying that it's childish to still be into Harry Potter. I'm not going to go that far. But me personally, Harry Potter's neat and all, but I just don't have any care about it. And then all the shit with J.K. Rowling, it's like I don't want to associate with that anymore. So that's going to be the end of that. But also, there's going to be Lego Animal Crossing sets. So maybe, just maybe, an Lego Animal Crossing game? Nintendo's been letting other studios, make games for them. So maybe that'd be interesting. I don't know how they would do that, but that'd be cool. Hideki Kamiya says Japan should be proud and wants the term JRPG and wants to use J action. He of course is an executive at Platinum. And this is a follow-up to, I believe it was Final Fantasy. Someone on the Final Fantasy team talked about how JRPG was discriminatory because, I say way back in the day, there's still a little bit of it in today, but the J in JRPG was kind of used by Western game media as a way of discounting it almost. Where it's like, the gameplay is fine if you like turn-based, but they, story's fucked up. And that was basically the narrative. If you're playing a Japanese game, the story's gonna be weird. But weird in a bad way, according to a lot of these places. Like I said, things have changed since. I am fine if everyone agrees. Not being Japanese myself, I can't speak for the discrimination or the co-opting what was a discriminatory phrase as something to be proud of, as Kamiya is talking about. That's entirely up to them, but just so you guys know, there's that going on, so depending on who's making the game, you might want to be careful using the term JRPG. And if he wants to use the term J-action, because there are some Japanese action games that play differently to Western action games, if he wants to use that term, great. But also keep in mind that not everyone's going to like that either. So that's always been my... Sorry, my hair's all fucked up. That's always been kind of my my thing is... Oh, shit. Hold on. I just noticed something. This one? Yeah, that's that one. We're just going to ignore that the wrong date was there the entire time. We're just going to brush that off. Anyway, yeah, so if someone says that they don't like a term or they don't want you to use that term or whatever, it takes zero energy to just not use that term. In fact, actually, it might even save you energy. Like, for instance, with JRPG. Now, just say RPG, and guess what? That's one less syllable you had to say. Is it a lot? No, I mean, it's not a lot. That's the point. I don't know. I have no problem with not saying something just because it, if it hurts someone, then why say it? When not saying it actually would be easier on you. You have to go out of your way to do that, But that's just me. I guess I'm just made from a different cloth. Let's see. We're starting to get into out-of-date stuff. This is technically out of date, but I want to talk about it because I think it's interesting. So Tears of the Kingdom has only been out for 3-ish months, right? Well, it had it's already at 18.5 million copies sold. Keep in mind, that's second ever in Zelda sales, with number one being Breath of the Wild at 30.5 million sales. And it already was the second best-selling game within the first 3 days. Already sold 10 million in the first 3 days. I guess I say that's number 2. I think Twilight Princess might have been like 11, but like it was very close to being number 2. Within just the first 3 days. And that's why I keep telling people, because people keep complaining they want a traditional Zelda, or they want, an actual Zelda. This is actual Zelda now. Traditional Zelda is now like classic Zelda. Like, this is the format moving forward. This is where the money is. Nintendo, if you haven't listened to the Kit and Krista podcast, I recommend, and you're interested in Nintendo, I would recommend watching it. I don't 100% agree with everything they say, but they have because they are from Nintendo, like they have like 15 years of experience at Nintendo. They have a unique insight into how Nintendo operates. And so they've talked about in several episodes now that Nintendo has a goal for each game. But you can't celebrate after you reach the goal, because that's just the goal. Then they have they have the target, and don't celebrate if you